Hi everyone, I'm Lizzie and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you my 5 things that I wish I knew before I moved abroad. So if you haven't seen my videos before, you might not know that I used to live in Germany and I lived there for 2 years. And there were a couple things and issues that I ran into that probably could have been avoided if I knew these things before I moved there. So today I thought I would share them with you. My first tip before you move abroad is to make copies of literally everything. I'm talking passport, ID, visa, credit cards, debit cards, literally anything that you might need in case anything gets lost or stolen. And when you go to your appointments for either a visa or an apartment, or if you get a contract, make a copy of everything, including paperwork you might need, and make sure all your paperwork is stamped with a date. When I had my appointment, I had to give the person a ton of paperwork. And what I should have done is have them stamp any copies to show that this was something they saw on this date. And that is because when I went back for other appointments, or a lot of times when some of my friends went for other appointments, they would often be told that the paperwork that they had was missing. So this is a way to prove, no, you had this paperwork on this date, and then hopefully you won't run into as many issues as I did and as some of my friends did. Make sure you have copies of everything, more than one copy if possible, and make sure things get stamped with a date to ensure that people have seen it and you can hold them accountable for it. My second tip is to make sure that your passport is up to date. Now, I know this seems like a really basic thing to have, but I made this mistake when I was living abroad. I still had a full year left on my passport, and so I thought that would be more than enough time to get all my paperwork in order, to get a new passport, and to be in Germany. But in reality, not having much time left on my passport made it more difficult for me to do things, such as to get a visa and to get a ticket home. A lot of times, you won't be allowed to get on a plane if you have less than 3 months left on your passport. So I should have renewed my passport sooner, but I waited until the last possible minute to send it back, thinking that, what if I travel? What if I need to go somewhere and I need my passport? In reality, you can live without your passport for a month. So if you have the time and you need to renew it while you're abroad, make sure you give yourself enough time between when you are traveling and when you are sending your passport in. Because that was another huge mistake I made. I didn't send my passport back in time, and I actually didn't have it in time to fly home back to the United States, and it prolonged my departure for my summer break. So don't do what I did. Just make sure your passport is up to date and renew it as soon as you can. Tip number 3 is to make sure that you have a weekend bag handy. One of the best things about moving to a foreign country is that travel is so much easier abroad. You can take planes for really cheap, you can take trains for really cheap, and you can get to lots of different places a lot more accessibly. So a lot of times my friends and I would have a 3-day weekend, or we actually had more vacation time in Europe than I did in the US, so we would travel a lot more. But carrying around a massive suitcase just isn't a thing, and I am not the backpacking type. So keeping a small duffel bag or a small carry-on bag is a really, really great thing to have. At first, when I moved to Germany, I didn't even think about packing something like that, but this also kind of leads it into my next tip, tip number 4, which is you can buy it when you get there. I know packing for a trip abroad is really, really stressful, and it can be really difficult to decide what it is you actually need and what it is you can live without. So when I was packing, the thing that I thought the most is, can I get this abroad? Is this something I can live without for an extended period of time, or is this something that I can buy once I get there? For example, socks. I did not pack socks when I moved abroad because I moved in the summer and I knew I wouldn't be needing them for a little while because I could get away with wearing flip-flops or shoes without socks. And it was something that I knew I could purchase really cheaply once I got abroad. Other things my mom wanted me to pack would be like a towel and bedding and things like this. And I get it. You want your comforts from home, but you can get it abroad. Like, you're not moving to the middle of nowhere. They have stores, so you can buy it once you get there. If it's something that you know you can get abroad, yes, even peanut butter, as much as it hurt me to leave my peanut butter, I knew I could buy it once I got there. So keep in mind just what is it you actually need. Like, you might need a winter coat, you might need your favorite sweaters, you're gonna need jeans. I mean, yes, you can buy it once you get abroad, but you still need your basics to get you through. And then anything additional, like accessories or things that you think you might need for an apartment or other clothing items, you can get them once you're there. Or worst case scenario, you can always send them or bring them back at a later time. So don't overpack, take only what you need, and remember, you can buy it when you get there. Last but not least, my fifth and final tip of things you should know before you move abroad is to join a Facebook group. All right, I know. We've all canceled Facebook. It's not a fun place to be. Does anybody even have Facebook anymore? The answer is yes. Europeans and people abroad still have Facebook. And the reason that they still have Facebook is because of Facebook groups. Yes, there's Instagram, but to be honest, people don't plan things on Instagram. You can like each other's photos, you can get to know about maybe your coworkers or schoolmates or whomever it is that you're moving abroad to. But to really understand what's going on in the city that you're living in, you need to find out information and events. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through Facebook. When I moved to Hanover, I joined a group called Hanover for English Speakers, and it was a community of people who spoke English. On the group, you were only allowed to speak English. If somebody spoke in German, the administrator would ask them to either repost in English or remind them that they couldn't. They would always post things that were going on weekends, and they had the best resources for finding people or workers or places to go where people speak English. So for example, at one point I needed to go to the doctor. I went on the Facebook group to find where it is that I could go to find a doctor that spoke English. Or maybe it was my washer was broken and I needed somebody to fix it. I could go onto there and find a repairman that spoke English. I know it sounds silly, but for somebody who really didn't know German, this was so important. The other group that I joined once I moved abroad was called Girl Gone International. No, it's not like that Girls Gone Wild situation, not even close. Girl Gone International is a community of women who live abroad. So there were tons of women from all over the world who happened to live in Hanover, and they would have different group events to meet up and to get to know new people, some of whom were from the United States, but a ton were from many other countries, like Mexico, Latvia, Italy, like so many different countries. I got to meet so many amazing new people. They also helped to keep my social calendar going because they pretty much did events at least once a month, if not more. Having so many local people to help you understand where to go, what to do, who speak the same language as you is really helpful when you're moving abroad. So as much as I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, I will say Facebook groups are the way to go when you are moving abroad. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 tips for what you should do when you move abroad. I hope that you enjoy, and if you think of any other tips, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll check you next time. Bye!